Hello and welcome to another Salador weekly analysis. We're going to start off looking at the euro dollar, and as you can see we're at the moment around the 134 area, and we can clearly see that we're in a downtrend, just breaking this trend line. We're hovering around the 134 area, but I do think we're going to see more downward pressure down towards the 133 area. And then we might get a little pull back to this one support, no resistance area before we do see any more continuation down. But either way, I think we're going to have more downward pressure. We're in this channel, bearish channel. So for the best part, I think we're going to see more bearish action before we should see any pullback. Next is going to be the pound dollar. Again, we're in a bullish channel. We've come back, we've tested this once resistance, now support. I think we're actually going to get another retest of the 171.69 area, and I don't know what else. Also get the feeling that we're also going to make a run for this area, the 173 area resistance, before we should see a pullback, probably even a break of this channel before we start seeing a move to the downside. Next we're going to be looking at the USD JPY. You can see we've been in this wedge now since December 2013. I did say last week that we were at the bottom. Well, no, it wasn't at the bottom, it was halfway up, and I did say that we was going to get another retest of the upper side of this wedge before we'll get another push down. Now I actually think that we're going to break to the downside on this, but I mean, one thing with the currency markets, nothing's ever guaranteed. But what I can say is whichever way we do get a break, like I said last week, normally when we look at the top and the bottom of the wedge that's formed, normally when the breakout does happen, it's normally the same width as the top and the bottom of where the wedge originated. Now if we look to this side, we can see that if it did go to the upside, it would be to previous resistance, and if it went to the downside, we can also see that it's a previous support. I'll pull back the chart a little bit. You can see that in this area there is, just take it there, we can see that there is already support at this zone area at the 95.84 area. So whether we get a break above or a break below, those are the areas that we would be targeting. But before we do anything, you'd wait for a break and a close above this trend line here, or a break and a close below this support line here. Now we're going to go and look at the USD CAD. Now we'll be looking at a few people that are saying that this is the channel marked in red, but there are other people who are saying that this is the channel. But either way, I think we can all agree that we are in a downward channel, but we're also just bouncing off for the last few weeks now off this very strong trend line here, bullish trend line. Now I actually think that we might get a retest of this trend line before we get a break above, or we could just get a break above and a close above before retesting, and then more bullish action to the upside. Next, the AUD USD. We've been stuck in this range for some time now, and we're either going to get another retest, another bounce, or we'll get a close, a break below, close below this area, which in that case, if we did, we're going to be targeting this area again. Support around 93.24 area. But before you was to start selling anything, break below, close below this area, or if it was a bounce, you'd be looking to buy above this candle here. Now we're going to look at the US dollar Swissy. Again, we're in another bullish channel. but we're approaching resistance. Well, again, we're going to do one or two things: bounce off this resistance and retest the channel trend line channel, whichever way you want to call it. But another retest of this area before eventually breaking this area to the upside, which would be the next area of resistance. Or if we do get a break below this area, we're going to retest the support area around 88.63 area. Now we're going to the Euro JPY. We've been in this very strong bearish downtrend since March of this year, 2014, and I think we might get another retest of this trend line before we continue down. But the one thing that does concern me is if we do look at the MACD, you can see that we're getting very good signs of weakness, bullish divergence on the MACD, which means we're either going to range or we're going to break back above this area. Any breaks above this area, again, you'll be raking for a break above, close above, before we try to retarget this area, or possibly even the upper trend line, which has been in place for months, going back to last year, 2013. Finally, we're going to be looking at the Euro Australian dollar. Now with this pair, as you can see, we're also in a very strong downtrend. We're approaching an area of very strong support. But if you look at this, this is a downward wedge. Now mostly with these downward wedges, they tend to break out to the upside. Again, if it was inverted and it was a wedge that was angled upwards, the reverse of what you see here, then most of the times you'd see a breakout to the downside. But being as it is what it is, it's a slanted wedge at the angle it is, then we should be expecting a break to the upside. Now what we've also got on the MACD here is also bullish convergence. You can see we have 1, 2, 3, 4 moves to the downside, but the MACD shows weakness in these swings, so therefore I can't see us going anywhere further to the downside. So I'm expecting a break above the upside, but again, a break above, close above this area of support and this trend line before we would look to buy. I think the first areas that we would look to target could be around here, and then breaks above that, which would be a couple of weeks away, I would imagine, would be there. And then finally, the major one that I can see here is around here, this area. But as I say, that could be weeks away, if not months. Okay, that's this week's analysis, and thank you for watching.